Welcome to Wanna Bet, the daily gambling game show that takes betting seriously, but not much else. Get our favorite plays on the totals, sides, props, exotics, and futures to jump on now. So let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Subject som känner konstnärer konstnärerna. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Let's get it started with Jason and
Hey there. Welcome to Wanna Bet. I'm Jason. That's Ben. We definitely want to get it started. And we thank you guys for checking with us on another huge weekend of sports in the US of A. We do this 7 days a week. We give you our favorite plays. You can see the rundown to my right here. First, second, third down, 3 favorite plays of the day since yesterday's show. Fourth down, we try to get you plays to get you paid quickly in games, fourth and short, or we focus on more long-term markets or some longer plays, right? Some big money plays that we will take some long shots on. Overtime, soccer and football parlays every day while they're in season. And unlike most of the jokers and mooks in this industry, we show our work. We keeps it entirely real around here. Rough weekend here for me. Back in the red. I got to say, Elon managing to score exactly 85 points against the terrible Northern Illinois team yesterday, by Ben, in which they missed 9 foul shots, including the final one of the game in garbage time that would have got us to 86. They're facing a Northern Illinois team that's terrible against the 3-ball and an Elon team that's been scoring 90 a game. They go 3 of 19 shooting the 3-ball in their own gym. Okay, so that happened. Arsenal screwed us pretty good yesterday. They hold the ball for 80 minutes and don't put a shot on target or hold the ball for 80% of the time and don't put a shot on target for pretty much 75 minutes. Threw balls across the 6-yard box left and right that nobody runs onto, and then allow Wolverhampton to score against them. Only the 3rd home goal they've conceded all year when Wolverhampton finally holds onto the ball. And then, look, I apologize in this Man City game. We told you Haaland's always a great bet. We love Phil Foden to score or assist. Bang. That happens. We went back and forth in that parlay between over 2.5 total goals and whether to play the BTTS. Crystal Palace have been scoring at home. Man, you had been giving up goals like crazy. Crystal Palace had 5 legit scoring chances in the first half. We should have played it over 2.5. Sorry. It ends up 3-0. We get the over 2.5 total goals. But yeah, we've had and that UC Santa Barbara, that game I totally skull F that. I mean, that was total scheisse. Santa Barbara had 8 points 10 minutes into that game. Like that one had no prayer. So we're back in the red and got to do better. Beltway Ben, you watched the Army-Navy game up close. You got screwed on a couple bets.
If I would have put all 3 downs up, it would have been all green. First down, second down, third down, we killed. And fourth and short, we ended up getting a push because Wemby I guess they played it right. They didn't play him in the first quarter because they wanted to get him more important minutes. He played second, so we got a push there. SGA, we put to win 2 units on him to get 30-plus points, and we did it earlier in the week. We also added him into a parlay yesterday for plus money. Finishes with 29. If you would have told me the MVP of the NBA, a top 2 player in the sport, needed 5 points in the final 6 minutes of a 2-point game, I would have told you, what a lock that was. Great play. Yep. Glad he cashed. No, he ends up scoring 29, chucks a bunch of threes. Times got tough for them late, and instead of getting to the bucket, trying to get to the free throw line, he was just chucking threes. Now, some of that, you have to credit San Antonio's defense, but at the same time, OKC was all out of sorts. Something wasn't right there. I don't know what was going on, but SGA finished with 29 points to screw us out of just over 3 units. So that one hurts. And then Army-Navy. Sometimes in sports betting, you can't make it up. Navy is at the 1-yard line with about 9 minutes to go. And it was clear they were going to do the tush push. So they do the tush push. Army tackle punches the ball to Horvath's hands. The ball goes back to the 7-yard line, and Navy recovers it, which results us in a negative 7-yard run for Blake Horvath.
Yep.
And we lose 7 there. So now I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to need 40 or 39 yards on the final drive. I would have needed 32, which 3 first downs was possible, which they ended up getting. And kneels don't hurt us, so it would have been perfect. We would have cashed. So we need 39 instead of the 32. And they finished 7 yards short. So on the fumble where they lost 7 yards, they costed us big time. It's crazy. It's sports betting. That's how it goes. I'm not making excuses. I just think it's funny that seems to be how these things always work. Jason lost Elon's team total at 85. Insane how these just the systems that they throw all these numbers into ultimately end up being right so much.
3 of 19 shooting the 3-ball. Okay. Them's the breaks. All right, let's get her going. I want to give you guys these plays first because these matches kick off in about 15 minutes. 2 soccer plays from me in first down. Let's go to the Bavarian Giants, Bayern Munich, laying 2 goals on the Asian markets, plus 145 against FC Mainz. Best versus worst. It's as simple as that. How's it been going for Bayern at home this year in the Alliance Arena in the Bundesliga? They've won by 3-1, 6-2, 3-0, 2-1, 4-0, 5-0, and 6-0. So they would have covered for us here in what? 4 of these games, they would have pushed in 1, and they would have failed to win in the 1. That was 2-1. That was against Dortmund. That's against the second best team in the Bundesliga. Not exactly FC Mainz. There's not a whole lot to like about Mainz here. Bayern is 7-0 at home, 29 goals scored, 4 conceded. FC Mainz has 1 win and 4 losses on the road. 6 goals scored, 13 conceded. It should be a bloodbath. One other thing to watch in this game, there's a 17-year-old kid for Bayern, Leonard Kohl. He keeps getting a run in Champions League, not playing as much in the Bundesliga. He's not in the match day 11 today. He's not starting, but he is on the bench. If he comes in this game in the second half, I'm going to be on him for an anytime goal. They're not giving him out. I just looked again 15 minutes ago. I can't find numbers for him anywhere. But if he gets in this game, I think he's scoring or assisting on a goal, and I think he's probably scoring. So that's something that I'll see if I can check that on Twitter during the game, although I'll be busy. And then Leeds and Brentford kicking off 11:30 in the Premiership. Give me over 2.5 goals here at plus 110. How has goal scoring been in Leeds matches this season? Here's total goals in the Premiership: 6-4, 5-3. Premiership and I guess there's a couple Leagues Cup in here. Anyway, 6-4, 5-3, 4-3, 3-2, 3-4, 4. Brentford matches at home in the Premiership average 3.3 goals per game. There's been a BTTS 71% of the time of those matches. That means that's 2 goals right there if we've got a BTTS. Brentford have scored 15 times in 7 home matches, so they're scoring over 2 a game. Leeds on the road, those matches average 3.43 points total goals per game. 71% BTT, over 2.5 goals in 71% of Leeds road matches. Leeds have been pushing the pace offensively, and they're not afraid of giving up goals on the back end. Brentford play a little more conservatively at home, but they've been a bit of a scoring funk, and I think they come out firing a little bit more in this one. We're already on Thiago anytime goal in this match from yesterday, but I think we get at least 3 goals in this match, Ben.
I'm going to start in the NFL, which all of my plays are. Maybe give you guys one NBA play in overtime, just because there's a lot of NBA today, and we've had a lot of success, except for SGA yesterday. Don't even get me started. That one was tough, very tough on me. But we will play here Woody Marks over 77.5 rushing yards at minus 110. And we're going to go back to a different market, one that you can find under player specials on DraftKings. If you go to player specials and scroll to the bottom, they have running back fantasy score, quarterback fantasy score, wide receiver fantasy score. Of course, here we are going with the running back fantasy score. Woody Marks over 15.5 fantasy points at minus 110. Arizona against the run has not been good. Since week 8, they are bottom 5 in success rate, 54% success rate. And it's been all year that they've struggled against the run. Their passing defense has been solid, but the run defense has not been good, and it's gotten even worse as the year's gone on. Let's look what running backs have done against them in that time frame. Last week, Blake Corum, 12 for 128. Kyron Williams, 13 for 84. 25 carries, 212 yards from those running backs combined. Bucky Irving the week before that, it was his first week back, 17 carries, 61 yards, and that's also a weird backfield there, so I'm not taking too much from that. ETN, 15 for 86. And Etienne's kind of been up and down this year. That's been one of his hot weeks. Christian McCaffrey before that, 13 for 81. And then Seattle before that, Charbonnet had 14 carries for 83, and Walker had 14 carries for 67. So 28 carries combined for those two, 150. Now let's look at the Houston backfield. Like, most of those backfields I'm saying have a two-headed beast. They're going to get guys working in. Nick Chubb's out. So what does that mean? It should mean Woody Marks is getting all of the touches. Like Ogunbowale, maybe. They have a undrafted free agent that they've got that might get a few, but like, they're not taking Woody Marks carries. And I get that there is some risk here because Woody Marks in every single game limps to the sideline and he's banged up and he's hurt. And that's the scare. Like, that is absolutely a scare for me. But I'm confident that against this Arizona team, with as bad as they've been, it should mean a lot. And they haven't held back from giving him carries. The guy's had like 18 plus carries in multiple games this year. So they feel good about him. Nick Chubb dealing with the ribs, the rushing, all that. That should all be Woody Marks. And then like running backs, because we already talked about the yards, 77.5. If he gets 20 plus carries, which it looks like he will, he should have that. But the fantasy score, we're going to need some more. We might need some receptions. We might need a touchdown. I do love him for a touchdown at minus 145. I'll give that as an official play too. I know we got 3 different plays on him right now. And we'll also have him involved in overtime. But like 10 running backs to touchdowns over the last 5 weeks for this Arizona defense. I mean, that's just how they're being beaten. And CJ Stroud, since coming back from the injury, has been fine. But like, they don't want to risk injury with him. They want to make it simple for the guy. Their passing weapons haven't been as dominant. They've got some young guys. Higgins, Collins is a beast down the field, and he eats every week. But at the same time, they're going to be balanced. They're going to hand the football off. It should be a heavy dose of Woody Marks. I like him over 15.5. Fantasy points at minus 110, and then the rushing yards over 77.5. And for the fantasy points, it's DK's standard fantasy. So they play it how the DFS is, if anybody plays that. And it's pretty simple how they grade it. So they don't give you an update during the game. So unless you have the daily fantasy app, you can't check at what he's at on DK. But I feel pretty good about that play.
Nice. All right, second down for me. I thought about parlaying this with some other things, but for the value, I just ultimately took it by itself. Dak Prescott under 1.5 passing touchdowns plus 172. Minnesota's defense is good. It's legit. And as long as number 9 doesn't play out of his mind, turn the ball over a bunch and give Dallas the ball in Minnesota's red zone, then I'm really comfortable with this. The Vikings haven't allowed a passing touchdown in 4 straight games. They've allowed just 14 in 13 games all season, and that's despite getting abject failure quarterback play. Dude, they've allowed under 100 yards passing the last 2 games, and you can go back half the season. They're allowing 180 or less. Does Dak get his in garbage time here? Does Dak get a couple of explosives because of everything he's got out there? I mean, I guess maybe, but like Lamb's banged up. Dallas isn't usually good in crunch time, and they need this game badly. And I think that Flores is going to have a plan here. Opposing quarterbacks only completing 63% of their passes against the Vikings on the season for under 7 an attempt. I also think Dak could be a double agent. So I just like the value on this pick. I think Minnesota's defense is still very legitimate. I think this is a team that they can get after a little bit. And I just need the quarterback of Minnesota not to F me here with field position. But look, did I think about correlating this with the under? Did I think about taking the under up and going under with this? I mean, I did. I came damn close. But for plus 173, let's just get Dak to screw this up a little bit.
Second down for me, we will play the Buffalo Bills on the money line at minus 115. Shop around. You can find them there. If you look, it's a pick'em game between these two. 2 straight good wins against Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. Now, Pittsburgh is not a good football team. I get all of that, but it's still impressive to go to Pittsburgh when you're an underdog and a lot of people think that they're going to beat you and dominate them the way they did. Cincinnati, being able to beat that team with Joe Burrow is impressive because Cincinnati with Joe Burrow is a different beast. This is going to be a revenge spot from the last time these two teams faced off on that Sunday night game where New England went in there and got it done. It was impressive. I get all that, but like the division could still be Buffalo's. And their defense struggles, and they're in a weird spot, but they have a lot of guys who have won the AFC East and dominated the division before, whereas New England, like, they're kind of going in the right direction. They a lot of guys who haven't done it. The quarterback hasn't done it yet, and times are going to get tough here. And I'm interested to see how they kind of respond to that in a game like this one. It's going to be the ugly snow sleet mix. It's going to be freezing cold. I trust Buffalo more in those conditions. Just New England is young, and I don't know that they're better than Buffalo. They did perform a lot better than them, and a lot of guys are perfectly fine buying into whatever role they have to for that team. They had a lot of money in the offseason, and they spent it well, but it was a lot of role players. It wasn't too big of game changers. Like, I don't want to completely knock them, but I think Buffalo's a better team right now. I think Buffalo knows what it takes to win this division, and I think they'll keep their foot on the gas. This is a play that I know you're going to get to in a second, so I'll just touch on it real quick. Packers, we talked about them earlier in the week. You can get them at minus 115 on the money line. Earlier in the week, I gave them out as a part of a parlay. These are two really similar teams, right? Very good defenses and an offense that some weeks looks like they're legit and their passing offense can kill you. And then some weeks it's like, what am I watching? I mean, they both have been in that area, but Jordan Love's starting to get it going. He's playing good football. He looks confident. They're getting healthier, which is massive for them because all year long, it's been one guy in and one guy out. Every single week we've seen that with them. Josh Jacobs is expected to play. I feel good about them as a whole. I think they're going to win this game in Denver. I just think they're a better football team than Denver. I trust their offense a little bit more. I trust the quarterback play more in them.
Yeah, this Charger I think is totally shot. I'm trying to jerry rig it like I have been.
What percent are you at?
It's weird. This computer doesn't hold a charge very well, so it's fading. I should be good to get through this, but I'm thinking about the rest of the day and tomorrow morning. Yeah, I love this play too. Look, Jordan Love is 15-5 straight up from week 11 on through his career. Matt LaFleur was hired in 2019. Matt LaFleur is 21-4 straight up in December for his career. That's number one in the NFL since he entered the league. He's got the better quarterback. I don't think the altitude's going to be a big deal here. And to me, Denver's defense has slipped a little bit lately. Not quite as airtight. Maybe they're looking ahead towards the playoffs a little bit. And I love Green Bay's defense on the road, and I think they'll have I think Knicks will be put under more pressure than he's used to. So I just think Green Bay's the better team. It's no slight on Denver, but this could be a Super Bowl rematch. It wouldn't shock me. I also think Denver's gotten a lot of fourth quarter luck. A lot of variance has gone their way. And kind of like New England, I just feel like they're due for a loss. In the last 5 years, Beltway Ben, there have been 7 occasions where a team that is at least 9 games over 500 has been an underdog. We've got New England and Denver in that situation today. The previous 7 teams are 0-7 against the spread. Yeah, so that's my third down.
That makes me feel better. That does. It is weird that, like, in a lot of these sports, I mean, you see because again, you see the public going and looking at records. Some people who don't watch the games as close, and they usually end up losing. But third down, we will go to Derrick Henry. I told Jason last week, I think it was 2 weeks ago, I think it was the Cincinnati game, where I said, like, if he screws me, to start throwing the card up. And he ultimately didn't completely take us out. I mean, he cashed a few, didn't cash a few. So he's still alive to be played on this show. We're going to play Derrick Henry over 88.5 rushing yards at minus 110. He's over this in just 2 of his last 5. This is a get-back opportunity for the Ravens in this spot. And you go back to Thanksgiving. 5 carries, 33 yards in the first quarter. And he also had the 2 most explosive plays of the game, the big touchdown run and the reception for 40-plus yards. Outside of that, there weren't many touches. And this coaching staff just continues to get in their own way with him. This is going to be the coldest game in the history for Ravens. And Lamar Jackson, anybody who knows Lamar, he does not like the cold. He doesn't like playing in it. He doesn't like it at all. I mean, he's from Florida. It's understandable. That means that they should be giving the football to their running back a lot in this game against a defense that is garbage against the run. Now, they've improved in some areas defensively this year. I completely am not buying it. I think they're frauds. I think they suck. I think they showed it time and time again as the year's gone on. Now, you have to improve. When you were at the bottom of the barrel, at some point you got to get a little bit better, and they've done that. They made some personnel changes. They traded Wilson, who wasn't really a good fit for what they were trying to do, and that's helped a little bit. It has. But still, since week 8, 54.7% success rate against the run. That's bottom 7 in the NFL, and Wilson was gone for the majority of that. They give up a lot of explosives, and Derrick Henry, that's where he eats. Like, he's a back that wears defenses down as games go on. Now, in this one, the last time they played, his big explosive was on the first drive, the first offensive drive of the game. And then after that, he didn't get a touch in the second quarter. With Justice Hill out and Keaton Mitchell, he's going to play, but is he a little banged up? Like, I just feel like it's going to be a heavy dose of Derrick Henry. I think they're going to say, we got to control the clock. We want to keep the ball out of Joe Burrow's hands and let Derrick Henry do what he does best. I mean, they did just give this guy $30 million. They gave him a $30 million extension for 2 years beyond this season. And, their season's on the line. Like, they're on life support. I don't think there's any chance they win out, but it has to start today if they want a chance. And the best recipes to success right now is to force the offensive lineman to get going downhill because their offensive line absolutely sucks. But against the Bengals defense, I think they might be able to get some push, keep it easy for them, keep it simple, let Derrick Henry get going. If he gets stopped in the backfield a few times, continue to try to make it work because to me, as game goes on, guys hate tackling him, and especially this defense that sucks tackling. You always see them diving on the ground. Geno Stone, he's a passing safety. Like he does not play good against a run. So get to the secondary, let Derrick Henry eat. Give me him over 88.5 rushing yards at -110.
Excellent. Fourth down for me. It's going to be fourth and long. We're going to take Nico Collins long reception over 26.5 -105. This moved up. Couldn't find it where I played it 25.5 anymore. Couldn't find it this morning. But I still like it. Look, he's got 8 or more targets in 6 of the last 7 games. So he's getting force-fed from the quarterback, and rightfully so. He has a reception of 26 yards or more in 4 of the last 6 games. He had one of the games he fell short. He had one for 24. Arizona's 23rd in the NFL in completions allowed at 25 yards or more. Arizona's allowed 12 of such completions in the last 5 games alone. That's 4th most in the NFL. Atlanta's pass rushes hit the wall. I'm sorry, Arizona's pass rushes hit the wall. And Stroud does like pushing the ball downfield to Collins, and I think he's going to be protected well enough to take several shots against the fading defense here. I think it's an under game overall, but I look, Collins is in a great vein of form right now, and I think there's some good matchups here in the secondary. They're going to move him around and take some shots to him, so I like that. -105.
Yeah, I'm going to play a parlay, and I was trying to get it to plus money for you guys, but ultimately, I don't want to overthrow something in there that I don't really love enough to change the basic play here. And it's Derrick Henry 4+ first quarter carries, and we're also going to add in Quinshon Judkins 25+ rushing yards. For some reason, we just have 25, but 25+ rushing yards in the first half. So again, Derrick Henry 4+ first quarter carries, Quinshon Judkins 25+ first half rushing yards at -112. You parlay these two together. Derrick Henry 4+ first quarter carries. Everybody, we all complained about the touches. Yeah. Exactly. We all complained about the touches in the first game. In the first game, even with the complaints, he still got 5 carries. So we just need them to do what they did the first time. I need them to do a little bit more, but if they do what they did the first time, he still will get there. 4+ carries is 1 drive, as long as the Ravens can get 1 first down. In the cold like this, I'm expecting them to get 2 to possibly 3 drives. Joe Burrow can move the ball down the field pretty damn quickly, and this Ravens defense all of a sudden is giving up explosives again. So wouldn't surprise me if they got 3 if they start with the ball, 3 drives. And their offense could be off the field quick sometimes. But I do expect Derrick Henry 4+ carries. I couldn't get 5. 5 would have been the regular number, and I probably would have given it out by itself. But it was between 4 and 6. So I ultimately went 4 to be a little, because 6 is like plus 210. And I was considering giving that one out, but ultimately just go with 4 because I think 6 is that's a lot. That is a lot. And especially if you're like kind of trying to test it out as the game goes on and you want him to get more carries late. I don't want to go 6 here in the first quarter. So just give me 4+ first quarter carries for Derrick Henry, and then Judkins 25+ first half rushing yards. Those get you -112. We're going to talk a lot about Judkins during overtime. Ugly weather game. Both other running backs like Ford and Simpson are going to be out. So if Sampson and Ford are out, it has to be Judkins. And you have Shador, who he's impressed. He's been better than a lot of people expected, and he's played good football. I don't think against the Chicago team that at one point was the turnover leader in the NFL in ugly weather, I don't know that you want Shador coming out chucking it left and right. I think you want to let Judkins kind of eat. The Bears have not been good against the run. They've gotten better as they've gotten healthier. Still not good against the run. If he gets the carries that I expect him to in the first half, he's going to have at least 1 explosive. 25+ first half rushing yards for him should not be an issue. So again, Henry 4+ first quarter carries. Judkins 25 first half rushing yards -112.
It's always something about way, Ben.
Always.
Overtime, some football parlays. Let's start with Patrick Mahomes to throw a pick and under 43 points in that Chargers-Chiefs games. Look, Mahomes has thrown a pick in 5 of his last 6 games. He's thrown 8 picks in that span. He's thrown a pick in 3 straight at home. He's 20th in the NFL in completion percentage. He's got the highest turnover-worthy throws rate that he's had pretty much in his career. He's trying to do too much right now, and understandably so, I guess. Their season is fading, and he doesn't have anybody he can count on. They don't get a lot of explosives. They become pretty predictable. It's going to Kelsey. It's going to Rice. People are jumping those routes. They're tipping balls. They have a beat on it, and it's resulting in a lot of interceptions and turnovers. This will get you plus 235 Apple Bottoms and Spotifyers. Although you probably want to be watching these shows because you're not going to have much time to get them before games kick off audio-wise. We're already on this under at the regular number, and we got it, frankly, under 44. We jumped it last weekend. But we're playing it up to 43 here. The Chiefs are 9-4 to the under this season. They're 10-5 to the under at home since the start of last season. They're 17-6 to the under at home since the start of the 23 season. They go under by 5.7 per game. Since Harbaugh came to town, the Chargers are 9-5 to the under on the road. Those games average 39 points. Kansas City's going under in 7 straight home games within the AFC West. We're playing it at 43. It might not get to 40. We are also we've played Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews. The Ravens 2 move tight ends. We've played them each to get 50 or more receiving yards. That's plus 600. We've chronicled on this show for months how bad the Bengals are against tight ends and how they hemorrhage yards and they've allowed the most, and how there's a 130 opposing passer rating when you throw to your tight ends against them, and how even bad tight ends come to life against them. Look, this almost happened two weeks ago. Likely had 95 yards receiving, and Andrews had 47, and they both had some drops and weird shit where they handed the ball away at the end zone and whatever. The Ravens ran their 4th highest rate of 11 personnel in that game. 3 wide receivers on the field. Bateman's now hurt. Hopkins wants a trade. They don't even have 3 wide receivers to put out there. Now, he can't get traded this late in the season. He wants to be released to go to a real playoff team. He's not happy. Lamar really has only had success throwing to Zay Flowers of all the wide receivers on the team, and he's a wee little guy. I think the big targets show up here on a freezing cold day, and I think they're both going to have matchups they like. So plus 600 for them each to have 50 or more receiving yards, and I also played that to happen. Likely and Andrews 50 or more receiving yards, plus Keaton Mitchell 20 or more receiving yards, 45-1. Mitchell's been banged up lately, but they need explosives, and he's one of the only guys in this offense who can provide it. And he can take a ball behind the line of scrimmage 50 yards in the screen game. I don't know that he's going to get 5 targets. In fact, I'm pretty sure he's not. But there's, Justice Hill's on IR. This kid shows up in the 2-minute offense. And I think they're going to be maybe chasing this game. I think they're going to have to throw the ball. And I think they're going to prefer him on the field to Ali, even though Ali is the better pass protector. Maybe we even get Mitchell and in a pony package at the same time with Derrick Henry. And you're wondering, are they going to hand it off to Henry or are they going to throw it to Mitchell? So for 45-1, and it's 3 outcomes, and it's 3 outcomes for guys who have done this with some regularity at certain points in their career, I like it.
Yeah, I don't dislike that. I've got 3 different plays on Judkins here. We'll start here. We'll just go with his regular rushing yards. We're going to go with Kinshawn Judkins over 77.5 rushing yards at minus 110. Pretty simple play here. Bad weather. Sampson's out. And the Bears defense just has not been good against the run. They're allowing like over 130 rushing yards to game to opposing running backs. And Judkins is a guy with both other backs out is going to have to get the carries. And they're going to have to force him to carry that workload. And one thing about him that always stands out to me is the way that they handled him when returning from the suspension or the contract dispute because of his off the field stuff. He's out for so long. Doesn't get to work out with the team, all those things. Everything happens. First week back against the Ravens, they give him like 11 carries. In his first week back, just getting back there, it was pretty clear how they felt about this running back and what they thought about him for the future. So ever since that time, I know that these are always tough because, again, this team, they're not good. And they're playing from behind a lot. And you don't like that running the ball. But in these ugly weather conditions, they should be able to keep it close. Shador, you don't want him out there chucking the football in the snow, taking 15-plus yard sacks in this ugly weather. Keep it simple for him. Let him hand the football off to a guy who has shown that he can be the bell cow back. In the games where he's gotten all these carries, he's had a lot of success, which is why we're going to play this as well. Judkins over 19.5 carries at plus 105. Listen, I just think it's going to be super simple. Hand the ball off. I've touched on it a bunch through this show. He's gone over this a few times this season. And in those games, as I said before, they've had success. The Bears are a much better football team. I fully believe that. But in a weird weather, odd situation like this, could the Browns defense step it up from last week and fix themselves just a little bit and stop the run a little bit? Maybe. So I think that they'll keep it close, relatively close, giving us a chance to get Judkins carries in the fourth quarter. I know it's a 7.5-point spread, but again, I feel good about that. And then the last one for Judkins here, we're going to go with 2+ receptions. Now, here we're playing something else. So we're taking both carries, and now you're rooting for something else. I'm fine with that because when they do let Shador step back and throw the football, you're not going to have Sampson on the field. You're not going to have Ford on the field. Both of those guys are out. It's going to be Judkins. So this guy will be playing close to 100% of the snaps. Of course, they will filter some guys in. I talked about it before with the undrafted free agent that they should maybe get a few touches. But Judkins is the guy. He was your first-round pick. You want any chance at winning this game, he should be on the field. And I took him for receptions a few weeks ago. We got that at plus 165. That was 2+. Oh, yeah. Right now we're getting 2 at minus 140. So that kind of tells you what they think there. Something else with this game that I was considering, and I'm going to give out the rushing yards for this game as a total, 262.5. So over 262.5 at minus 120. You can take that. I also like the rushing attempts, 59.5 minus 130. You parlay those two together, you get plus 190. That's damn good odds for something that, they correlate. If they're going to go over the regular rushing attempts, then the yards are probably going to go over too. So the rushing attempts for the game, 59.5 minus 130. The rushing yards for the game, 262.5 minus 120. And I'm also going to parlay those two together, plus 190. We're on this in a lot of different ways, and sometimes that's not the way we go about things, and we card each other and do those things. I'm fine with that. I feel comfortable with the weather conditions.
I'm not allowed to hand out any cards. I'm back in the red, I can't. Trust me. I looked at them, but I'm like, can't.
No, I just think in this game,
because Ben Johnson, Elon and Arsenal.
Well, I had SGA and Army or Navy yesterday, so I lost yesterday too. Again, if I could have cashed those two, it would have been a lobster night. But whatever. That's for this game. And then the last thing here, Mark Andrews over 3.5 receptions at minus 110. I always give a tight end parlay, but today we're just going to go with a simple play. We gave out Andrews a few days ago, plus the Ravens points. It's going to be a cold game that usually in the passing game means good for tight ends. And Jason talked about it before where the Bengals can score. And if the Ravens have to throw the football, tight ends are going to be involved. I know Isaiah Likely's been the guy and he's done a lot, but Andrews also went for 40+ the last time they faced these teams. He's a reliable target for Lamar. He likes throwing him the football. And again, I talked about paying guys, and when you pay them, you just gave him money. So you just give him money, you better get him involved and at least make the contract feel somewhat good with the fan base who is pretty frustrated with everything you're doing right now. Give me Mark Andrews over 3.5 receptions at minus 110.
All righty, Beltway Ben. Let everybody know how we've done here since we did our first show May 21st and how we're doing since. There you have it. I keep hovering right around break even, and Ben keeps hovering around plus 50 units. So you guys can always email us at wannabetwithus@gmail.com. Jump in the comments. We appreciate all of the feedback. We will be live around 10:30 tomorrow, assuming I have the ability to power up this laptop, which I guess I'll probably have to run to Best Buy or something and get a backup if I can't get this going. And yeah, we appreciate your support. As always, you want to bet, we want to bet. Thank you for betting with us.